What's up, race fans, and welcome to another episode of the Pecino Report. Oh my God, our minds have just been absolutely blown. It's been an incredible weekend of racing. The second time in Austria in 2 weeks. We've had amazing racing. Oh, I keep saying the word amazing. I get told off for saying amazing too much. But 2021, I can't help it. Everything is amazing. It's ridiculous. Oh, so we're here in season 2021. It's episode 20. It's finally, we've made it to the Fabio Quartararo episode. Or if you're in Australia like me and you watch your MotoGP on Fox Sports, it's the Fabio Quartararo episode, because unfortunately our TV host that we have over here, the poor thing, she can't say Quartararo, so she says Quartararo. So it's the Fabio Quartararo episode. But whichever, he's the world champion in waiting. He probably should have been world champion last year, but he psyched himself out. But let's see how he's going to go this year. So look, as I say, last weekend was absolutely incredible. We're going to get right down to it and talk about the race this week. We understand there's been a lot of other things that have happened as well over the last couple of days. We've had Maverick Vinales was shown the red card by Yamaha for, what was he doing? Was he just revving that engine? Was he trying to blow it up? We don't know. And then we had what happened with him going to Aprilia. And we've also had the Petronas SRT breakup as well. There's loads of things to talk about. We're going to focus on the MotoGP today. And then keep your eyes out on the channel. We're going to have a couple of quick fire specials out over the next few days as well. So the man whose name's on the tin, Mr. Manuel Pecino himself, can give you guys, the listeners, the benefit of what's actually going on, which is the whole point of the Pecino Report. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. So before we get too far into it, a quick hello to my co-host, Andra. Andra, we say every fortnight, every week, we say, oh, we're going to go to Austria. It's going to be absolutely ridiculous. I think you've seen 4 races there now, but it's actually 8 races. What do you think of that one?
And the red card wasn't on the track.
Yes. Yeah, not this time.
I have something, actually, it's not more exciting, but for my personal individual self, I had a very, very exciting race day. I posted stuff on social media. I think for those that have only started listening and watching us not long ago, I was brought into this podcast almost 2 seasons ago.
Yep.
We had the coronavirus lockdown. I had never ever been to a real life track or saw bikes. So on Sunday, I had the opportunity to go to Tailem Bend, which is the most incredible complex here near an hour away from Adelaide, to watch Australian superbike rider Daniel Falzon do his testing. So he took me through his suit. They let me touch the bike. They let me touch the tires. They showed me around. I peed a little. I was that excited. I went, and like at the end of the day, they were like, oh, not much is happening. I'm like, I don't care. I'm just going to come and have a look. So he was doing his testing with the other bikes. I took a million videos because I was just, I messaged Stu, I think, the other day, and I was like, Stu, when I hear the bikes, I just get this funny tingling through my body. Like I don't. So that was such a fantastic experience, and the guys were fantastic showing me around. So that was good. And then we got home just in time to watch the races, and then bloody hell,
Had your mind blown.
I had to take Monday off.
Yeah, just like that.
I was like, I can't
anyone
take
that Andrew works with is watching or listening, she was really sick on Monday. She was terrible.
I hope my boss doesn't listen. I had a headache.
A headache, of course you did, and you're still on the recovery road now. Was that exciting?
And it's back to front day for those that are listening. I'm drinking lemonade, and Manuel's drinking a beer, so it must be back to front day.
He is indeed, and Manuel, boss, how are you? You've just come back from Austria. I see that you're still into the Austrian beer. How was the trip?
The trip was fantastic. I am drinking. Let me try to spell it. Ottakringer, helles beer.
Yeah,
they're good with sauerkraut.
No, look, the Ottakringer. It's a good beer. No, the Austrians know how to do beers, right? The beers are pretty soft, and you can drink lots of them without getting too excited.
Yeah,
that's good.
And look, I returned,
the race.
Let me explain you. I was almost 2 weeks in Austria, and there were nights where I was sleeping with the heat on.
Wow.
In summer.
Wow. It's a microclimate.
Oh God, this old chestnut.
While in Spain, we have reached the highest temperature ever in history, ever since they measure it, with 46 point something, and we were sleeping with heat on the heat in Austria. This is fantastic. So I returned 2 days ago, and I have to drink beer to get stabilized inside.
Exactly.
To get my temperature stabilized.
I can tell you now, Manuel, beer fixes everything, so it'll be perfectly fine.
Indeed.
Well, and studio introduction has been perfect because look, the Grand Prix has been like shocking. Every 10 minutes something important happened. And during the race we saw 2 races in one. This time there was no red flag, but there were 2 races in one. And I tell you something that we will get there. I wrote on Sunday night a report for an Italian magazine, and I was so unconscious that I wrote, look, the headline was Jorge Martin, comma, is he the new Stoner of Ducati? And Stu, I can't leave my house. People are waiting outside to
exactly. I'm surprised you even made it away from it. Oh my god.
But we will get there. We will get there, and we will just throw in. I will give you my idea, and I hope you and our listeners will give their ideas back. Okay.
Yes.
But where do we start?
Look, let's kick off. Look, after the race the week before, obviously Jorge Martin had an incredible race. He had an amazing week. We went into this race this last weekend, and it was looking to be quite similar. Jorge Martin was looking quite good. The same sort of guys were up there. They all had a good qualifying. Let's talk about that first half of the race to start with. I mean, for me, that the surprise package was obviously Marquez. I know not to you. You said Marquez was going to be competitive, and I know that Andra had a quiet dollar on Mark as well. But for me, just how competitive and how aggressive he was without actually pinging anyone off was really, really good. So yeah, those sort of first 10 laps between Pecco and Marquez and those guys was great.
Look, it was fantastic because after the first race, a colleague of mine had a chat with Gigi Dall'Igna, the CEO of Ducati's Reparto Corsa. And Gigi, like always, he was super pragmatic because my colleague asked him, Gigi, after the first race, which will be the strategy for the second race? He said, very simple. The strategy is to put 4 Ducatis in front of Fabio Quartararo.
Yes.
So more simple than that. And again, I think I've said this here 100 times. It's the way the engineer thinks. He says, which is the goal? So very simple. The goal is to put 4 Ducatis in front of Quartararo. Then he tries to find out how to get to that goal.
Yep.
But the goal is simple. So when I saw Saturday night, the 2 first lines on the grid, there was Bagnaia. Bagnaia. There were in the 6 first positions. Therefore, 4 Ducatis.
Yeah.
And
there was 100
Quartararo.
And
Quartararo. And somebody who got into the party without being invited. That was Marc Marquez. But up to that point, Gigi's strategy was there.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, then the race starts, and at the end, what happens? Bagnaia, Martin, and then the 4 suddenly were there in the front, between all mixed up. And I said, "Wow, Gigi must be
very happy."
Plan executed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But then, as the race went on, things started to change. The first one who got out of the scene was Jack Miller.
Yeah. So what happened there? Because that's so last year. I remember Jack was the only guy who was podium for all of the races. This year wasn't even close for both weeks. What do you think? Is it down to Jack or is it down to his tire selection? How can it change so much in a year?
Look, I have to say that Jack for me is the biggest disappointed inside Ducati so far. He started the season as number 1. He started as the guy who was the the one who had to break the wall, you know.
Yeah.
But Jack, I don't know. Look, he was obviously so disappointed after the race because basically he has thrown away his chances.
Yeah.
You know,
Clearly.
So Jack has, you know, like when you, how do you say, balloon? You just
pop it. Yeah.
Yep.
Because we were saying
burst
after
his
last
balloon,
week,
yeah.
I think, because he crashed last week, that I was expecting a lot more for him for this second race, but yeah, does their head get in the way?
He's look. I don't know, but after signing his contract after the Le Mans race, remember he won in Spain and France, and then immediately in Italy they announced his renewal.
Yep.
Since then, I think he has been on the podium once. It's
needs something to fight for or something to prove.
At the end, and it may sound hard, I know, especially for you Aussies, but at the end, that's Jack.
Yeah.
You know, it seems that he is not ready to carry the burden of being the leader.
Exactly. Still hot and cold. Yeah. Exactly. And Pecco, on the other hand, like Pecco, it's amazing that he still hasn't had a win yet.
Yeah, Pecco, for me, he did the best race since he is in MotoGP.
He was the rider of the day. He was absolutely the rider of the day. Yeah.
If you look at the lap chart, I think in the first 23 laps, he crossed the finish line 22 times in first position. So a lot of things happened in that race, but Bagnaia was in first, like by himself, you know, and in the back they were bang bang. But Pecco seemed to have everything under control. Seems.
Quartararo, and Quartararo was quite erratic, trying to fight. He kept going wide, and he was trying to.
Well, you think about how hard he's got to push that bike to get it to that same pace as the Ducati around that track. Everyone's always saying about how it's not a Yamaha track. And yet he did such an amazing job to even stay with that group.
Yeah, but look, yesterday I had a chat in an Italian TV, and there was one who was really upset saying, no, because Bagnaia, he didn't deserve because he only overtook I think Mark and Quartararo on the straight line. Right. So, and I asked him, is that a sin?
Yeah.
You know, was he meant to wait for a tricky corner?
That's got the fastest bike.
Exactly. So why should he try to crash by overtaking the middle of the corner when he has just to wait? So it seems that having the bike that allows him to overtake on the straight is like a sin. You know, it's absurd.
How dare you play to the strengths of the bike?
You don't take any risks, you know, by hard braking. You don't have to overtake and change direction. You just wait for the straight. So why doing it different? Why doing it different?
Yep.
And in case of Quartararo, look, if you watch the races, and he explained after the race, he is incredible. He's in a state where he really believes in himself. Okay.
Yeah.
And he realized that he was he would suffer on the straights, all the straight. So what did he do? He did an amazing corner speed. So his exit of the corner speed were hyper fast. What did this mean? That he reduced the length of Ducati's
advantage. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So they were only able to get really close. And I noticed it when Marquez was near him a few times as well. They were only able to get close to him again when they were coming up to the corner, coming up to turn 3, coming up to turn 4, because he had such a good exit off turn 1 and turn 3. Yeah, he could maintain some of that distance out of those corners. Absolutely incredible. Really, really good for him to find the advantage of the Yamaha on a track like Spielberg.
Yeah, and here you see that the racing is not just about I jump on the bike and get out there and see what happens. No, Fabio had very clear that he had to minimize the advantage of the Ducati in the straight by reducing the gap on the straight. You understand?
Yeah.
This is pure racing strategy. It's amazing how they analyze and see and do. It's not okay. No, let's go out and race. No, it's not like this in MotoGP.
You just go out and go as fast as you can. There's more to it.
No, it's definitely not. That's right. And we saw that with Pecco when we noticed after 5 or 6 laps that the lap times are almost a second slower than they'd predicted to be. Pecco was clearly managing the tyre, but also what that was allowing everybody behind him to do is it was allowing him to make sure everyone was fighting behind him as well.
Mhm.
So they couldn't catch him up because they were too busy fighting. But now moving on to this guy and also Joan Mir, that also allowed those guys to come up and join the back of that pack, which then, Manuel, what we saw is something that we don't always see in MotoGP, and that was a pack of half a dozen bikes fighting for 10, 15 laps. That was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, you know that, you know me, and you know that I like to look at the figures, right?
Yep.
And if you look at the figures of the race, it's amazing. It starts to rain a little bit by -7 laps,
Mhm.
seven laps to the finish line. So when it starts to race, Pecco reduces his pace 2 seconds.
Yep.
And the ones that were behind, that were Marquez and Quartararo, the same. In this lap, Binder reduces just in 1.
Mm.
The following lap, the other reduced the gap, the pace in 5 seconds. Binder in 3.
Yeah.
So this allows Brad to arrive. And then, look, I put on the table 2 theories for you, and I want you to see.
Yeah.
These 2 laps made the confidence of Brad get high, because he saw, I am in this condition, I am much faster than everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And this may be what has taken him to continue on the track. This is one theory. The other theory that I put on the table, and you tell me which do you think is the right one. Remember that when the whole group arrives at the entrance of the pit lane, Brad was the last one.
Yes, yeah.
And Mark suddenly entered, and all the rest entered. And maybe Brad was like,
he got caught out, yeah.
And then he went, sorry, and then he went for it.
Yep.
So I don't know which one you think is more appropriate, but the last one, if you look, you know, because they all suddenly get into the pit lane, and Brad is the last one. I don't know, he was thinking in his girlfriend or whatever, and he didn't realize.
I think it was a bit of both. Honestly, I think a bit of both. He was obviously very happy that he'd caught up to the back of the pack. But yeah, I think he got caught out a little bit and went, oh, okay, I'm not going to go in. And then on that next lap, it was only on that next lap that he would have realized, well, I can't go in now, because there was only 3 laps to go or 4 laps to go.
And look, and it's so interesting. Go to the lap times and you see -3 for 3 to go. He does 1:34. Okay. I think he has an advantage of 31 seconds.
Yep.
And then the next lap, he loses only 5 seconds. He does 1:39.
Yep.
20. So, and then the last lap he does in 1:50.
It's 1:50.
The absolute.
He got off and walked.
The absolute clue was the second last lap.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolute. There, because he entered he crossed the finish line with plus 12 seconds.
How fast was he going when he crossed the finish line, do you think, Manuel?
How fast?
He
10 k's an hour.
Look.
No, that's what I was trying. I couldn't tell if it was a crawl.
I don't know if you heard Brad after the race. He said, "Oh, it has been the longest lap of my life."
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
But he said, but not only in timing, in meters, because
he went wide at turn 1, and he went wide at turn 3.
He's like driving home from the pub late.
And then every corner he went to the finish line and returned. So he did more meters in that lap than any other lap.
I was watching some of the corners, and the front and the back end were both sliding all over the place. I was going,
sorry.
Yeah, because the tire get absolutely frozen with that rain, and the brakes the same. So it was like he was gonna crash.
He would have been hanging on with every little bit of his butt and legs and arms and everything.
Exactly.
I was reflecting. Oh,
No, go on.
I was just saying, what I was reflecting on with that was because I kind of sat there and went, was it luck? Was it luck that he didn't go in and change? Was it luck that Pecco changed at the right time? You know, but then I was also thinking, we talked in our last episode about Brad and how he went, you know what? I'm just going to ride instead of worrying about what everyone else is doing. So I actually sat there and went, all right, if he didn't have that mindset where he would have gone, shit, everyone's going in, I need to go in. That's what they're going to want me to do. I'm wondering how much of that influenced the outcome where he just went, you know what? I'm going for it.
Yep.
Could have ended differently.
I think that only Brad knows the reality. But another thing important is yesterday, because look, the Italians, they criticize so much their own riders that I don't understand. Because Pecco, as soon as it started to rain, he blah, 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 blah. So Pecco, when it started to rain, did what it has to be done. We all know that in these type of conditions, Mark is almost the most clever guy. He knows. So if you are, just let him do, because he will do the right thing. Why inventing something when you know that the guy who knows how to do it is behind you? So Pecco said, when the situation started to get complicated, I just let Mark go in front. And
that's smart.
See,
very.
And all did the same than Mark. A guy called Mir, a guy called Bagnaia, a guy called
Martin.
You know, they knew what Mark does is the right thing.
Exactly. Yeah. It was an incredible last couple of races, and the thing that I found really, well, not funny, but absolutely incredible as well. With less than, I think, half a lap to go, Rossi was third. It was looking like he was going to get his 200th podium.
Yeah.
That was intense.
I was in the press room like with the mouth open,
Yeah, I watched the last couple of laps with my mouth wide open, like I was just.
Lecuona was there. Marine was there.
Lecuona was well.
And Lecuona was overtaken in the last corner, I think, by them too. And it's funny because when they crossed the finish line, only one rider knew in which position he was. That was Binder.
Yeah.
All the rest had no idea if they were. In fact, Martin said, I thought I had finished sixth.
Yeah. And I think Pecco was saying he thought he was fourth.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
They
had to look at the board. Exactly. Absolutely crazy.
Question though, for a flag to flag race, obviously I saw the one in Le Mans and that was very exciting. Was it rare for this race with everyone changing bikes at different times? Because normally does it go, it's raining and they all go, yep, we've got to go in. This seemed like people didn't know what they were doing, or was that unique?
It does tend to, but I've seen that more often than this sort of thing. It seems with this rain in Austria, because it was a bit of drizzle here, a bit of drizzle there. People didn't know when to come in. Yeah, with the flag to flag previously, it has been a case of it started raining, everybody goes in. Yeah. Maybe there's one lap difference here or there, but it does tend to be like that more often.
Because I even thought thought at the start with Marquez, because he had the soft rear, I was like, is this going to pay off for him? Maybe that was a smart decision. And then I thought it was going to. Yeah, then they weren't, nothing was happening. I was like, yep, he's going to start to lose his tire. And
yeah, but look, regarding when to enter, it's obvious that Quartararo would follow because Quartararo is the leader of the championship.
Yeah.
And he knows that the one with the most experience is Marquez. So Quartararo would follow what Marquez would do. And Mir, he wouldn't risk. He would do exactly the same than Quartararo, because he Mir wouldn't say, I'm not going to risk to lose, to crash or whatever. If he does, I do. So at the end, the one who entered the pits, Bagnaia, Quartararo, and Mir, they were basically conscious. No.
Conscious.
Yes, conscious, of what they were doing. Martin was just in that group and went in.
Yeah.
And Marquez, and again in Italy, they were saying, look, the normal Marquez would not have entered in the pits. He would have tried to finish the race. But as we saw in the race, Marquez isn't still the normal Marquez.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to put something to you here, Manuel. And we haven't spoken, we've spoken a little bit about him, but talking about Joan Mir, he's a true racer. We know he's a true racer. He's a competitor. Considering what Brad Binder did, okay, and considering how competitive Joan Mir normally is, do you think he made a mistake? Do you think he should have stayed out? Because you look where he is in the championship. If his goal is to win the world championship, okay, he's what, 50 points or something behind Quartararo? He's not going to win the world championship by doing the same thing as Quartararo all the time. So the only way that he had a chance of scoring more points than Quartararo was to do the opposite thing. Do you think that was a mistake that he made?
No, because look, we have seen Mir how he's a very analytic rider, let's say.
Right.
Look, he's going to risk where he thinks that there is a chance. There were much more to lose than to win.
Yep.
In Austria.
Just playing the percentages.
And after the race, Mir, like always, I like him because he says the thing, he doesn't sell smoke. He says things that have a logic. He says, look, what we did is not enough. We have to start winning races.
Mm-hmm.
He said, in my calculation, I need to win at least 2 or 3 races to the end of the season to have a chance to win the championship.
He does.
And then he says, the next 3 races will be crucial to see our real possibilities. The next 3 races.
Do you see that there is a possibility for him?
Just to finish, this means that in the next Grand Prix, Mir will go for everything, because he has said that the next 3 races are crucial. So he's saying, okay, in the next 3 races, it's everything or nothing.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
So there's going to be maybe maximum of 7 races left. So what have we got? We've got Silverstone, we've got Aragon, and we've got Misano coming up. They're the next 3 races. Remind me, what's the Suzuki like around Silverstone, Aragon, and Misano? Are they good tracks or not?
In Misano, remember last year they did 2 races there, and Mir did very well. Misano.
That's right. Yep.
Very well. In Aragon, remember, I think Rins won.
He did he did.
Rins won with the Suzuki.
That's right.
Won.
Yep.
And Silverstone, I don't remember. Rins was also in Silverstone, beating Marquez. So these are circuits where the Suzuki have shown high potential.
Yeah. And what are your thoughts about the new squat device on the Suzuki? They've finally got the same level of technology as the rest of the field, and it clearly helped as well. You could see in Austria. So do you think that improves the chances even more?
Yes, at least the Suzuki has got in the same level, because until now they were racing with less technology than the others. Now they are even. So, but at the same time, the Quartararo of this year is completely a different Quartararo from last year. So it will be a nice challenge, a nice fight between them.
It will.
Are we going to see some other riders on the track that don't normally ride MotoGP, Manuel?
Yeah.
As in,
we will see.
As in Jake Dixon.
It seems that Jake is going to race in Silverstone.
So they did. Was it him and Darryn? No, Darryn didn't.
Well, no,
test
Darryn.
the R1.
That's the thing. Darryn was testing the R1. So, what are your thoughts on that, Manuel? Why would he be testing the R1?
The story with Darryn is fantastic, and it shows you, and it will show you how the things work in MotoGP. Darryn was the only rider who had signed a contract with Petronas for next year.
Mm-hmm.
We will comment this in our special Petronas episode, but let's say here as well. He had a contract. So when they announced that Moto2 and Moto3 Petronas will be closed for next year, Bob Moore, who is Darryn Binder's manager, went to somebody in the team and said, here you have a contract. It doesn't say in which category
that was going to be my question.
That
was going to be my question. Yep.
So if you only have a MotoGP team, you better put him or we meet each other at court.
Nice. Nice.
So at the end, Darryn won't arrive in MotoGP because people think that he is ready or because of skills. It's basically because somebody doesn't want to go to court and lose a case.
I'm going to go back about 10 episodes to when I called this one, and you all thought I was silly. Even if I had no idea what I was talking about, I still called it.
You did. That's right.
Oh God.
You did. So that means next year we will probably have 3 sets of brothers racing. The Binders, the Espargaros, and the Marquezes.
And the Marinis.
And no Rossies.
I know, it's true.
No.
The Rossi is not here anymore.
Rossi.
Unless he changes his mind. He's
So
got
close.
time, right? Imagine
True,
4. But yeah, how good is that?
Yeah.
And let's go quickly returning to the race.
Yes.
Marquez was great. Marquez was, for me, he did the best race since he returned from his injury.
Agreed.
He still, you can see his riding, that he still isn't fit because there was, I think, change direction in between 5 and 6. The change direction where you need to push a lot with the shoulder.
Yeah.
There you see in the images that he's not the Marquez, you know.
Yeah.
But he's there. I really was happy for him, and the crash after getting out with the Ray tire was just an anecdote. He tried to get there. He had nothing to lose.
Yeah.
But he is strong, and I think that it's a good news to have him back. And I think you already spoke about Quartararo. Once again, brilliant. In the dry, brilliant.
Amazing ride. Again, for him to come away from Austria, as you say, Yamaha's worst track, for him to come away with the amount of points and the results he's had, absolutely incredible. You know, he's increased his lead realistically on his main rivals, apart from Pecco.
Right.
You know, and for him to do that in Austria, absolutely stunning.
He's breaking those stereotypes every race, isn't he? Like we sit there and go, no, it's not a Yamaha track, and then there's Fabio.
And then when he went out with the rain bike or the rain tires, he was mature enough to say, okay, don't do shit now. Think in the championship. So he just was. The other one, like Bagnaia, like Martin, they had to risk, you know, and they pushed. And Marquez assumed the risk and crashed.
Crashed. That's
And
right.
Quartararo saw this. He saw this and said, okay, let's take the most possible, but no 0 points.
Yeah, exactly. And now he's 47 points ahead in the championship. And I couldn't believe it when I looked at the table that Pecco is second on equal points with Joan Mir. So Joan Mir is now equal second. You know, he's done, as we see, here he comes again.
He sneaks though, doesn't he? He's just
here
consistent.
He comes again.
He's not in the spotlight. He's just makes his way.
And Bagnaia still hasn't won a race.
Exactly. Yep. Neither of those guys have won a race this year at all. Absolutely nuts. So yeah, it's been an absolutely incredible weekend of racing. Quickly, Moto2. Did you watch the Moto2 race?
Yes, of course.
Did you really?
The anthem was mine. And
I said to Adam again, I'm like, what's this national anthem again?
Again.
He's like, it's a Spanish one, Andrew. I was like, I know. I was funny.
The Moto2. The Moto2, I think that we have a conflict of interests.
Yes, probably. Actually, we do, don't we?
For me, and I think you said it on the chat on the weekend, Andra, Ayagura for me was he was the standout. Like, he's coming of age. You know, I've been talking about him. I've been talking him up for a while now, and looks like he's finally. I might have said it too early. Touch wood. I hope not. But you know, he might be learning to keep it upright and not just ninja everybody all the time. But yeah, what an incredible ride. He's showing some fantastic promise.
Can I make a Moto3 mention?
Go on.
Garcia.
Hang on. Before switching to Moto3.
I was trying to do it before you stop me.
Yeah, we have to talk about Remy.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Remy.
We do.
Yeah, not the best day for him, clearly, but he's still got some points. So and again, I think that was a mature ride from him, similar to what Quartararo did. He realized that he had a limitation and he couldn't go any faster. And so he just rode as fast as he could.
But I don't know what, because I can't remember where he started from, but he was back in the field a little bit. I'm not sure what happened through.
He started around about 6th or 7th. So he was, I think he was the back of the second row, 6th. And
I think
7th.
he thanked leaving Red Bull Ring because the 2 races there has been the worst in the championship. But as you say, Stu, it's good to have these moments, to see how the rider, how mature is the rider when the things don't are 100%. And this is what he showed. He came out with Austria without crashing. Okay, with the maximum points he could. And the thing is now to see how he will digest this situation.
Yes, exactly.
And then
he's still 19 points in the lead.
And we will see if he's mature for the champions, because Raul is now the one who is, is the boss of the party, the cool guy of the party, because he is growing and Raul, I think is 20 or 21 or something like this. But he's so mature, he said before of the race, if I had not been thinking shit about my future in MotoGP last week, I would have done better. I was too much into Ducati, Yamaha, KTM, and I have to focus in my stuff, and look what happened.
Yeah, exactly. So what did we have? We had Sam Lowe's finishing 4th as well. So we had both of the Mark VDS bikes 3rd and 4th, Augusto Fernandez and Sam Lowe's. Another good ride from them, but Sam can't quite seem to have that last little bit, can he?
I don't know. I have to speak with Sam. I won't go to Silverstone because getting in the UK, Stu, is like almost like getting into Australia,
Well, it is now. Now it's all out of the EU. Yeah, you got it. Somebody made a joke about that. There's going to be some teams are going to get turned around because they're going to have the wrong paperwork.
Sam Lowe's.
I wouldn't be surprised about this. And look, let me tell you an anecdote. The big trucks with where they cook, how do you say, with the kitchens?
Well, the catering, yep.
The catering, they had to leave everything what they had into the truck in Europe. Tomato sauce, spaghettis, salt.
You can't import all that stuff now,
They have to arrive completely empty. If they want to arrive with one tomato sauce like this, they have to do an import paper and pay 21% of taxes.
Yep, exactly.
So all these big trucks, they have to arrive empty, but no, 1 spoon of sugar. They can't have 1 spoon of sugar. That's what the situation. We have gone back 200 years or 300 years in history.
Yep.
It's going to be really difficult indeed. And Jake finished 11th on the weekend as well. So I think he was up to 7th or 8th at one point. So he had a reasonable ride. He did. He rode very well indeed.
Look, if we have to say reasonable, somebody who rides on 7th, it's because we are really pushing for him, because the description there would be pretty different. If he wasn't a friend.
Yes, that's it. That's all it is. That's right. Andra, Moto3.
Am I allowed to?
Moto3. Okay.
Go on.
I just wanted to mention Garcia because I feel like he's someone that's been overshadowed by Acosta a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm noticing he's 2nd in the championship, I believe.
Yep.
And also through all of their free practice qualifying, he's the only rider I've noticed that doesn't bunch up and do the stupid shit and stays on his own and just goes out and does the fastest lap he can. So I have a lot of respect for him doing that. But I think he's a big standout that people are, they're starting to notice him, but he's just got a bit of a shadow over him.
Yep. I heard something about him being in Moto2 next year as well.
I heard something about that.
He's
I can't remember.
I don't know. I don't know if he's going to switch, but look, comparing Acosta and Garcia, Acosta is a rookie and Garcia has had some seasons in Moto3.
Yes, he has. Yeah.
Garcia was one of the riders of Emilio Alzamora Estrella Galicia team.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yep. So he is a guy who has a certain experience, but it's clear. Look, he has been very brave in the first race. Remember, he crashed in and he has fought in the same way in the second race. Now Pedro Acosta knows clearly that he has a stone in the shoe, like we say in Spain, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's fine. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Yeah, Masia.
He's having a bit of a hard time, isn't he?
He's having a shocker.
He was the star when I even wrote him on that. I've got a piece of paper stuck on my fridge with who I think is going to win the champion. The 2 top riders, I think, for each grade. And I put Masia on it.
You've cursed him. You've cursed him.
I'm more surprised that Manuel's watching Moto3.
No, because I like Garcia. Garcia, this fight between Acosta and Garcia are fantastic.
Yeah. And you've got to, as much as you want to see people blitz it and win easily and be amazing, you want them to have a bit of a challenge and fight for it.
Look, and 84,000 people were at the track.
I saw that on Sunday. That was fantastic to see. That was so good.
84,000 people the whole weekend, almost 150,000 people there.
We're so jealous.
We don't even have that many in Australia.
I know, yeah. Down here in Australia, all locked up and locked away. Oh my God.
Here in Austria, the COVID situation is amazing. Nobody wears mask. Nobody. Zero. You only have to put a mask in when you go into a shop and every time you get into a restaurant or anywhere, you have to show your vaccine certificate.
Yep.
If not, you have
with
to get
the 2 vaccines. And then immediately they give you a paper. You put your name, your telephone number, and the time, the hour when you were in that shop. In
contact tracing.
We've got here in Australia, Manuel. We've got QR codes every single place you go. We have to scan in.
You have an app. Everywhere has to do that.
But this is to give your name and telephone. But the vaccine, you don't have certificate so far, no?
No, we're just about to. We're going to get mandatory digital.
I can log on. Well. I can log on to my phone. And it will show me that I've had my needles.
There you go.
Very good. So in Austria, the situation since the beginning, they have controlled very well the situation.
Sounds like
it's a country that is basically the life is normal, with the measures that the difference between the Latin countries and Central European. When there is a measures, the Central Europeans, they really stick on it. We Latins,
meh. Exactly.
Do you know what? I did, Manuel, did you see I think I can't remember if I posted it to our group chat, the pictures of Rossi as he was explaining the race.
Yes.
And just he's like, you can see the emotion, then he's just like laughing and it's just beautiful. It was so good.
What I'm gonna miss about him, it's a personality. We need more of those personalities.
I saw a post somewhere, I think it was Luca Marini said that Valentino shit himself when he realized he was in third. Like was just like, oh my God. He was as shocked as us.
Indeed. All right, look, we're going to get going in a second. We're going to go and record some of these specials. But before we do, so we're midweek after Austria. We've got a week off this weekend, and then we're over to Silverstone. What's your tips for Silverstone, Manuel?
It depends on the rain, like always in England, in the UK. In the rainy, and it seems that Silverstone is in the most rainy area in England. So,
yep, that's all of England.
Silverstone, I don't know. It's the longest track of the year.
Yep.
And if you would go to Silverstone, it's amazing because it's a track where there are not hard breaks. It's like sweeping, like this.
Maggots and Beckett's.
Always full gas.
Yeah.
Who won in 2019?
I think it was
keep talking.
Mir, no?
Let me find out.
Because they didn't race there last year.
It was Mir who beat Marquez, wasn't it?
Have a look.
Test Manuel's
could have been. Well, Mir is who I'm going for. I'm on Mir this next weekend.
You're always on Suzuki.
I know. Oh, Alex Rins. That was Alex Rins.
Yeah, Alex. No, excuse me. Yeah, I was.
We spoke about that. Sorry.
That was Suzuki. Yeah, Suzuki.
Remember that super victory on the finish line? Remember that race?
That's the one. Yes, of course. And it was 100th of a second was the difference over the line. So he was literally that far in front of him.
Watch that.
Go and watch that race. That was brilliant. But
by the way, Rins is another one who has disappeared.
Amazing. Exactly. Rinse and repeat. He's just gone again.
He's staying on.
Yeah.
I think he stayed on.
Yeah, at least he hasn't crashed. Exactly. Indeed.
Do you know what's funny from the? I don't know if anyone, for guys that are watching, these are my notes. I'm sitting and write notes. This was
wow.
That was.
What the fuck?
Rossi in third, 3 laps to go.
And then I'm just like, what? For those that are listening, I've got all my notes, and then in big capital letters it says, "What the fuck?" And then I've got BB stands for big balls.
Yes. Big brass balls.
Oh
indeed.
my god.
Brass ball Brad. That's him. There's
So
your
good.
episode name right there. Brilliant.
All
right.
all right.
Wonderful. Absolutely
Okay.
wonderful. You got any messages for the viewers and listeners before we go, Andra?
I have one. I have a message. I found out that there's someone in my life that listens to the podcast that I didn't realize. So I want to give a shout out to a man that has done things to my body that no other man has done before. And that's my chiropractor, Michael.
I was starting to get scared.
Yeah.
So was I. I could see Stu going, wait,
I was
what?
like, do I need to talk to Adam on the side here? What's going
Maybe.
Indeed.
Yeah, so Michael, he's a mad F1 fan. So when the other week when I mentioned that, he said, I was listening and I heard you say that a guy told me to watch F1, and he was like, that was me. So I was very stoked that he listened. So hi, Michael.
Nice, good stuff. G'day, Michael. Indeed. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Keep doing, Michael. Keep doing what nobody else does too.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, keep doing it to her. Indeed. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching another episode of the Pecino Report. Get in the socials, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Send us messages. Let us know when you like the episodes and when you don't like the episodes as well.
Oh, they tell us.
Indeed. Oh, I'm sure they do. Yep.
That's good.
Stand by for a couple of specials coming, and in a few weeks' time, we'll see you in Silverstone. Thanks very much, everyone. Bye.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Adios, adios, bye.